Good morning. Good morning. Today we are going to talk about selling. It is a changed market. Let's have a little chat about that for a hot second. Yes, the market has changed. I know a lot of people are thinking, it's still a seller's market. We still have lots of things we can do, but let me tell you where that has changed. The seller's market has changed because there aren't as many buyers willing to buy right now. A lot of people have stepped back from the process. A lot of people are saying, let's see what the market looks like. Although we are not looking at a drop, people are a little weary about where their money's going and what's happening with the economy, and their stocks are on the tank, which is very exciting for everybody. So everybody's a little bit nervous right now, so there's not as many buyers. That means that the sellers do not have the same hand they did before. So let's explain that just a little bit in what was happening before. A seller would plop a house on the market. You'd have people through the door all day long for 2 days. Then you'd have 20 offers in hand, $50,000 over asking price on even, say, a $200,000 house or a $300,000 house. And they'd be giving up everything in order to get this house. So we're talking about they would give up no inspections. They would cover any appraisal gap that there might be from the sale price to the appraisal price. They would anything. I mean, all sorts of things. There were, bonuses thrown in. I don't even know what all those offers said, but people were getting pretty clever. And now what I'm seeing is that people are saying, here's what I want. The sellers, not just people, sellers are saying, here's what I want to see in your offer. I want to see, I want to see an appraisal bridge or appraisal gap. I want to see no inspections. Well, nobody's going to do that. The buyers only did that out of desperation. Those days are gone. It's gone. When you've got one offer on the table, you need to make sure that you know what's happening in the market. You have to know, you have to be able to, you have to give those buyers back their rights. They have a right to inspect the property. They really do. These were desperate measures. People wanted a house. They were up against everything they possibly could be against. None of us as realtors wanted to be writing those things down. We didn't. I think my buyers have every right to an inspection, and they have every right to ask for repairs if there's something that should be correct and not correct in the house. If the air conditioning doesn't work and it says in the listing there's air, you're going to need to fix the air conditioning or put in a new unit, which is what I would recommend if you're selling a house for a decent price and trying to be a good person. So let's say you're trying to sell your house in this market, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to help you find a good listing agent. 80% or more of the agents are new in this market, and it's not a bad thing. It isn't. Some of them are well versed and able to do the things you might need. Most of them aren't. Most of them are, desperately seeking a listing, but have no idea what to do once they get one. So, in order to make sure that you're safe and you know what you're doing, let's go over a few things that you're going to want to ask your realtor, or anybody who's you might think about giving this job to. I mean, it is a job, and it's a huge job because you're asking them to sell a house worth hundreds of thousands of dollars upward. Rarely do I see a house on the market around here less than $100,000. There are out there, but not necessarily in my market. So here, let me go over what you should expect to see from a listing agent. They should be offering you professional photos. They should be offering you a virtual tour, and that is not a slideshow, folks. A slideshow and a virtual tour are two different things, and agents are like, oh yeah, I have a virtual tour. It's a slideshow. I don't want to see a slideshow. I can thumb through the photos faster than your slideshow. I want to see a 3D virtual tour. I want to be able to walk through the house, because most people can't visualize it with a photo, or a handful of photos. I want to be able to walk through that house, and I want to be able to take a look at, just get a feel for the size of it, the layout, and everything else. So a 3D virtual tour will do that. In my market, I have a lot of people coming in from different cities. So being able to walk through that house and say, "Oh my gosh, this is a great house. Let's hustle over there," or let's get Aunt Midge to go through the house for us or a video tour with my agent, something, depending. I've had people buy houses sight unseen plenty of times, plenty. So this is really necessary with the people who are relocating. They need to be able to see it and really see it, because they're limited in time, and there's house goes on the market, you need to put in your offer. They can't necessarily get here before that happens. I like to see drone videos. It's not always possible. Anything near an airport can't be done. I know my drone is grounded anywhere near an airport. It won't fly at all, as would be a halfway decent drone. So videos, virtual tours, pro photos. Those are three real basics. I would, if you can, and if you're doing virtual tours, you'll probably be able to have floor plans are really great for people to see. A floor plan, especially if you have room dimensions in there. Now, this is a lot of extra work. It's a lot of extra work, but that should be expected in a listing. Your listing should be complete, and this is what would make it complete. Drone is sort of an optional thing, especially if you are, in a neighborhood or something. It may not help, but if you have a lot of land and need to be able to sort of really show what's out there, a drone video would be great. So let's help you get there. Let's ask some questions of that listing agent that you've got. Let's go ahead and let's put them on the rail a little bit and see what they have to say. So here's some questions I would ask. How many homes do you sell a year? That could be listing homes. How many homes do you list a year? How many homes do you sell for somebody buying? Those are two different answers. Make sure that as a listing agent, they are at least listing a dozen homes a year. That's what I would require, somebody who really knows what they're doing. Not everybody sells a lot of homes and lists a lot of homes. There's not that many to be listed in this market. So anybody selling 12 homes or no more a year is great, and hopefully they know what they're selling. You might even ask for an address. What was the last home you sold? Have them give you the address. Go take a look at that listing and see if those photos look great. Do your homework. This is a big deal, and we're talking about thousands of dollars left on the table, because your end goal here is to see how many people you can get to look at your listing. Okay, that's it. How many people you can get to look at your listing. Any realtor using photos that make the room look bigger, I would veer away from that. I don't like that. What happens is everybody walks into the home and they are disappointed. You don't want people walking in your home disappointed. Make sure those listing photos look true to size, true to scale. You're not using some lens to show the whole room. That's not helpful. It's not helpful. If I walk into a living room and I think it's going to be big and it's small, my clients are going to walk out. They're going to say, this isn't what we thought it was. And that's not what you want to present in your listing. You want it to be as honest as possible. I mean, I like to show off the stuff that's not perfect. I do, because I want people to expect that there are, this house is a used house. I'm selling a used house. I want you to know this. I'm going to lead in with all the great stuff about this house, but I want you to know that there's an unfinished space in that basement, that's an unfinished space in that basement. And maybe, some people might be saying, that's great. That's a great place for me to, keep my skis. I don't know. It doesn't matter to us. I just want to make sure, us, the seller, what that space looks like. I want to make sure these people see all of it, and honestly, okay? So that number one question is how many houses do you sell a year? And make sure you differentiate selling, listing houses, and as a buyer's agent, and then you want to ask a few key marketing questions. Ask about that virtual tour. Make sure it's not a slideshow. Will there be a floor plan included? Do you have a professional photographer that you use? And will there also be video? These are some key things to your listing and making sure it stands out. Is that listing also going to be on YouTube? Are you going to actively market the house? Are you going to buy ad space? I actually actively market a house and put ads out there. So, most realtors don't. I run an ad for every house I list, okay? If I can see that my main goal, I have one goal, and that's to get most views of that house. I want everybody who's potentially looking for a house like that to have seen it. I don't want this to go missed. And so That's my goal, and that's what everybody's goal should be. What's your marketing background? That's a great question. That's a great question. And how will you advertise my listing? Are you just going to list it? You're going to punch a sign in the yard and say, hey, good luck, man. Let's see what happens. Because that's not marketing. You're not actively marketing, that's passively marketing. So let's make sure you've got active marketing going, that this is going to show up on all of our web pages. It's going to show up as an active new listing. I want to see the videos out there on YouTube, and I want to see advertising, real advertising dollars going into that. I mean, that's what they're paying them for, right? This listing agent should have a marketing budget. This listing agent should have a marketing plan. So, it's different than helping somebody buy a house, where you're running around helping them buy the house, and then you're going through all the motions of negotiating that, and going through the appraisal, and going through the inspection, and all the rest of that. That's one thing. Selling a house is a whole different deal, and you have got to have a marketing plan. If your agent doesn't have a marketing plan, I would seek another agent. I've picked up listings from agents who aren't doing their job, and we can sell it quickly and fast because that agent didn't do much, and the pictures are atrocious. I'll tell you what, I go looking for atrocious pictures, because that house isn't going to be seen as much, and so if I can find a house that has atrocious pictures, but I bet that's a nice house, I have a buyer for it, and we will have no competition. That's the beauty of a bad pictures, is my buyers make out with the bad pictures. I sent a client, here's a quick story. I sent my clients this one listing 3 different times, and I called them. I said, are you getting that? Did you see that house I sent you? And they're like, yeah, we keep looking at it, we don't really like the pictures. I said, exactly. I said, guess what, I'll meet you there at 6. Let's take a look at this, because I think it's exactly what you want. Those people are in that house right now. I'm telling you what, and had I not seen that terrible pictures, we would have had a lot more competition on that house, and we would have not taken that house. We had 2 other people after that house, and my reputation with the other realtor was stellar, so it helped us to really negotiate that and make sure that we had a good deal, a nice clean deal to the finish table. That's what most realtors are looking for. If I know a deal, if there's a few realtors out there that I know that deal is unlikely to follow through and finish to the closing table. And why? I can't tell you, but that's not the realtor I want to work with. So you won't know about that sort of reputation of your realtor. It'd be pretty hard for you to figure out, but make sure you're getting somebody who's doing all the work and doing it right. The last and final question I would ask is, how many people are on your team? Now, that team doesn't mean necessarily realtors. How many people are on your team going to be working on my listing? What does our team look like here? Do you have a title company you work with at the base of it? The title company should get started right away and make sure that title is clean, right? So do you have a photographer? Do you have a drone operator? Do you have somebody doing your YouTube videos? Do you have somebody doing your marketing? Do you have more than one person working on my listing to get it out there? Or more than one agent going out seeking buyers for my house? I don't. That's a kind of an interesting question, because there's a lot of people working with them, but if they haven't really solidified a team, like there's some of these newer agents will have we use the title company from my office, or we'll get this done, or whatever. Some of these questions, the answer isn't as relevant as how they answered it. I'm not sure if that makes sense to you, but knowing that agent is solid and secure with you listing your house will get you pretty far. So that's my whole podcast today, is how to find that agent that's going to list your house and going to do it right, because 8 out of 10 of them won't. So keep that in mind. Most people don't know a thing about marketing, and have never listed a house because they're new to the whole process. They're new realtors. They're hoping to do well, but they don't even know what that means. So let's be careful when you're selling. As a buyer's agent, most realtors can get the job done helping you buy a house, especially now. But right now, your house has to stand out. We are not in a seller's market where you can pop a house on the market and everything goes in 2 seconds. We're back to your house needs to stand out. So make sure that's happening. make sure you find a good realtor. I will put down all these things in the comments section of this podcast if you need to go back and take a look. Thanks for listening.